Imagine lying down tonight, your body sinking into rest, your mind floating on the edge of sleep. The world around you fades, but something deeper begins to awaken. This is the moment where most people drift unconsciously, carrying their worries, their debts, their fears into the night. And by morning, they find themselves replaying the same struggles as yesterday. But you are here because you want something different. You are here because you have heard the whisper of truth, that sleep is not an escape, but the doorway to creation. If you're ready to open yourself to abundance, write in the comments, "I am prepared to receive my money." This is not just a comment, it's a declaration to the universe that you are open and ready to receive wealth. Neville Goddard taught that what you carry into the silence of sleep is not forgotten. It is planted. It is received by the subconscious as seed, and once accepted, it must bring forth after its kind. What you imagine in those final drowsy moments, what you feel as true before drifting into slumber, becomes the hidden command shaping your tomorrow. And tonight, I will show you how to use this power deliberately, how to prepare yourself to attract money and abundance, not by chance, not by luck, but by law. Think of the countless people who lie in bed rehearsing bills in their mind. They see the numbers piling up. They hear the inner voice of worry saying, "How will I pay? What if I fail?" And as they fall asleep, those feelings are impressed deeply. By morning, their world mirrors the seed of lack they unknowingly planted. Yet, if you dare to carry a different seed into sleep, the story changes. Instead of worry, you enter rest with gratitude. Instead of fear, you enter with fulfillment. Instead of debt, you enter with abundance already yours. And the subconscious, faithful beyond words, will accept that seed and reproduce it in your waking life. Now listen closely, for what I am about to share may sound deceptively simple, but it is the very formula of creation. To attract money, to magnetize wealth, you must first prepare your inner state. Preparation does not mean endless effort. It means aligning yourself with the feeling of already having, the sensation of already being blessed. As Neville said, "Assumption, though false, when first made, if persisted in, will harden into fact." So tonight, as you hear my words, you are not merely listening, you are planting, you are impressing. You are clothing yourself in the garment of wealth, until it becomes as natural as the breath in your lungs. Let me ask you this. What would it feel like if tomorrow, without warning, money appeared in your life? Not a small sum, but exactly what you needed, perhaps more than you dared imagine. How would your body respond? Would you sigh in relief? Would you laugh with joy? Would gratitude well up in your chest? That feeling, that natural, unforced sensation, is the key. The mind does not need numbers or details. The subconscious does not require explanations. It requires only feeling. So as you lie in bed, do not struggle to create a complex movie in your imagination. Choose instead a single simple scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. Perhaps it is the sound of a friend congratulating you. "I'm so happy for you, you're free now, you're abundant." Perhaps it is the sight of yourself checking your account and smiling. Perhaps it is the feeling of holding money in your hand, the weight of it real against your palm. That short scene, repeated gently in the drowsy state, clothed with the feeling of truth, is enough. And here is where most fail. They try too hard. They demand to know how, when, from where. They plant the seed but then dig it up each morning to see if it has grown. They rehearse lack while hoping for wealth. But you will not make that mistake. You will hear these words tonight. Let them sink beyond reason into feeling, and allow the subconscious to do what it always does, bring forth after its kind. Money is not outside you, waiting to be granted by chance. Money is the shadow of your inner state. When you prepare yourself by assuming wealth as natural, money cannot help but appear. Life itself bends, opportunities arise, doors open. And what once seemed impossible arrives with a grace you could never have planned. So tonight, as you hear my voice, let yourself prepare, not with effort, but with surrender. Not with worry, but with confidence. For what you feel now will echo in the days ahead. The abundance you assume tonight will be the abundance you awaken to tomorrow. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Let the words wash over you, not as ideas, but as truth. Feel the weight of wealth. Feel the relief of freedom. Feel the gratitude of already having. And as you drift into the sweet silence of sleep, know that the seed has been planted. And once planted, it must bear fruit. You are not waiting for money to appear. You are already abundant. You are not begging for luck. You are preparing yourself for what is already yours. Say within, I am wealthy. I am blessed. I am ready. And with that knowing, rest, for as you sleep, the law works in silence. And by morning, your world will begin to mirror the truth you dared to assume. You are beginning to understand now that money is not an accident, not a random event, not something granted by an external force. It is a reflection, an echo of the self you carry into sleep. Think of it this way. The outer world is the shadow, and imagination is the light that casts it. You cannot chase the shadow and hope to catch it. You must turn to the light, and once the light changes, the shadow must follow. So tonight, while your body rests and your mind drifts, we turn to the light of your imagination and let it shape the world to come. Neville taught that every night is a sacred ritual. As you lie down, you are not simply ending your day, you are entering the workshop of creation, the drowsy border between waking and sleep. What he called the state akin to sleep is the golden door. Why golden? Because it is the place where reason grows quiet, doubt grows weak, and the subconscious stands open, receptive, ready to accept the impressions you feed it. In the daylight, you argue. You say, it's impossible. The odds are against me, I don't see a way. But as the body grows heavy and the senses dim, those voices fade. And in that silence, what you choose to feel is received as truth. This is why Neville insisted that feeling is the secret. Words repeated without emotion are empty. Pictures imagined without sensation are faint. But feeling, that living vibration of certainty, gratitude, relief, is the language of the subconscious. It does not analyze, it does not question, it simply accepts. So tonight, when you prepare yourself to attract money, do not strain with logic, do not demand an explanation, let yourself feel. Perhaps you have known the heaviness of lack, the pressure of unpaid bills, the tension of not knowing if you will have enough. Tonight, release it. Instead, breathe in, as though the burden has already been lifted. Sigh with the ease of one who is free. Smile with the quiet joy of one who is already secure. That simple shift, that deliberate assumption, plants a seed far more powerful than hours of worry ever could. Let me give you an example. A woman once told Neville that she had spent years struggling with money. She affirmed daily, I am rich, I am abundant. But deep down, she still felt poor. Her affirmations were words only. Neville told her to stop repeating and start feeling. He asked her to imagine the relief of her debts cleared, to hear in imagination the words paid in full. She obeyed. Each night, as she drifted to sleep, she felt that relief as though it were happening now. Within weeks, an unexpected inheritance came, clearing her obligations completely. She said, Neville, it felt like a miracle. But he reminded her, it was not miracle, it was law. The law does not fail. The subconscious accepts what you feel and reproduces it in your outer world. That is why gratitude is so powerful. Gratitude is not begging. It is not a strategy to get something. True gratitude is the natural response of already having. When you feel thankful before the evidence appears, you are proving to the subconscious that you already possess it. And once the subconscious accepts that feeling, the evidence must follow. So tonight, as you listen to my words, allow gratitude to rise in you, not because you hope money will come, but because you know it has already been given. You may not yet see the path, you may not yet hold the proof, but you carry the feeling, and the feeling is cause. The world is only the echo. Let us go deeper. Imagine yourself tomorrow morning, waking with a lightness in your heart, a smile on your face. You reach for your phone or your mail, And there it is, an unexpected deposit, a check, a gift, a message of opportunity. Feel the warmth in your chest as you realize that abundance has come. Do not force the details. Do not demand to know how. Simply feel the thrill of it being so. That thrill is the seed. That thrill is the prayer. That thrill is the command your subconscious will obey. And here is a mystery few understand. It is not the ticket, not the job, not the transaction itself that creates wealth. These are the channels, the bridges by which your inner state manifests. The true source is always imagination. That is why Neville said, "Man is all imagination, and God is man, and exists in us, and we in him." To discover this is to hold the pearl of great price, the treasure beyond all treasures. So tonight, as you prepare for sleep, do not fall into unconscious habit. Do not carry with you the burdens of the day. Choose instead the seed you wish to plant. Choose wealth, choose abundance, choose freedom, and plant it with feeling, with gratitude, with the certainty that it is already yours. And when you drift into sleep with that knowing, your subconscious, like fertile soil, will receive it. And in due season, in ways too natural, too ordinary, too precise to be called chance, you will wake to its harvest. Now imagine this with me. You are lying in your bed. The lights are dim. The noise of the world has faded. Your breathing slows. Your body grows heavy. And you hover in that sacred space between waking and sleep. This is the moment. This is the golden door. And instead of replaying your worries, instead of rehearsing lack, you choose a new story. You choose wealth. You choose freedom. Neville called this the state akin to sleep. It is not quite waking, not quite dreaming, but a borderland where the conscious mind releases its grip and the subconscious takes the lead. And what you impress upon the subconscious here is not questioned, not argued with, not delayed. It is accepted as fact. And because the subconscious is the womb of creation, what it accepts must eventually appear in the outer world. So what do you plant tonight? Plant the feeling of already being abundant. Plant the feeling of money as natural to you as breath. Plant the relief of knowing the bills are paid, the joy of giving freely, the quiet confidence of wealth that is secure. Do not wait to see it before you feel it. Feel it first, and by law you must see it. Perhaps you have wondered, but how can I feel rich when my bank account shows otherwise? How can I feel secure when the bills shout louder than my affirmations? And I answer, as Neville answered, you do it as the actor does upon the stage. The actor knows he is not Hamlet, yet he feels Hamlet's sorrow, Hamlet's triumph, Hamlet's rage, until it becomes alive to the audience. For those hours on the stage, Hamlet is real. So too must you act in the drama of your wish fulfilled. Enter the role. Wear it as a garment. Speak from it, think from it, feel from it. And if you persist, the line between acting and being dissolves until the new state feels natural. That is the key, naturalness. For what feels natural to you is what the subconscious accepts most readily. So imagine, not as though you are watching yourself from afar, but as though you are truly there. See through your own eyes, hear through your own ears, feel through your own hands. If your scene is that of opening a bank app and seeing the numbers rise, then let your heart race as though it were real. If it is the sound of someone congratulating you, then hear their voice with clarity. If it is the feel of holding a check, then imagine the paper beneath your fingers, the ink, the weight, and most of all, feel the emotion. Feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude, the excitement. For the subconscious speaks in the language of feeling. Neville once said, "Assumption, though false when first made, if persisted in, will harden into fact." This is not poetry. This is law. The assumption you dare to hold, though every outer fact denies it, if persisted in, must crystallize in your world. Let me tell you a story. A man once came to Neville, desperate, his business failing, his savings gone. He said, "If only I could get one break, one chance." Neville told him, "Stop begging for chance. Stop waiting for fortune. Tonight, assume you are already successful. See the faces of friends congratulating you. Feel the handshake of a new partner. Hear the words, "What a turnaround you've had." Then fall asleep in that state. The man obeyed, though it felt foolish at first. Weeks passed, and then, as if from nowhere, an opportunity came. A partner, funding, a revival of his business. Within months, he was not just surviving, but thriving. And he said later, "It was as if life bent itself around my assumption," and Neville reminded him. Life did not bend itself. You bent life by assuming it was already so. This is the power you carry. The world is not fixed. Circumstances are not final. They are reflections of your inner state, and when you dare to assume differently, the outer world must eventually bow. So tonight, when you drift into sleep, do not go as a beggar. Do not go rehearsing lack. Go as a king. Go as a queen. Go as one for whom wealth is natural. Assume the end. Assume the prize. Assume the relief and the gratitude as though it were already done. And sleep in that feeling. For what you sleep in, you must wake too. And now let us go deeper into the mystery of feeling. For if assumption is the path, then feeling is the very fuel that drives it. Without feeling, assumption is a hollow shell, an empty word, a seed scattered on stone. But clothed with feeling, that same assumption takes root in the fertile soil of the subconscious and grows into fact. Neville wrote an entire book on this truth, a slim volume with a title that says it all. Feeling is the secret. And indeed, it is the secret. For you may repeat affirmations for hours. You may visualize pictures with great detail. You may even write lists and rituals. But unless you feel the reality of it, you have done nothing. The subconscious does not respond to words. It responds to vibration, to the inner conviction that lives beneath the words. So ask yourself, what would I feel if this were true? If tonight I held the winning ticket, what emotion would rise in me? If tomorrow I woke to find my debts erased, my accounts overflowing, what would flood my heart? Relief, gratitude, joy, excitement, peace, whatever that feeling is, it is the key. And here lies the great law of reversibility. Just as receiving money brings joy, so too can joy bring the experience of receiving money. Just as winning the lottery creates excitement, so too can excitement, impressed upon the subconscious, summon the win. The cause and the effect are not one way, they are reversible. Think of fire and heat. Fire produces heat, but heat can also produce fire. Electricity creates magnetism, and magnetism can in turn create electricity. So too in the realm of consciousness, outer events produce inner feelings, and inner feelings produce outer events. So when you hear someone say, "I'll be happy when the money comes," know that they are reversing the law, postponing the fulfillment forever, for they place the cause after the effect. But the awakened one says, "I will feel happy now, I will feel relieved now, I will feel rich now." And by that feeling, the cause is set, and the effect must follow. Neville once told the story of a woman drowning in debt. She prayed as a beggar, pleading for relief, but nothing changed. Then she heard these words, "Assume the wish fulfilled, feel it real." That night she imagined herself holding a receipt, stamped, paid in full. She felt the relief so deeply that tears came to her eyes. Within a week, a relative she had not spoken to in years appeared and offered her the exact sum she needed. She said, "Neville, it felt like magic." And he replied, "It was not magic. It was law." Do you see the power? Feeling is the magnet. Feeling is the bridge. Words are only the vessel, but feeling is the life within them. So tonight, do not simply repeat, "I am rich." Feel what it means to be rich. Feel the freedom of paying every bill with ease. Feel the joy of surprising a loved one with a gift. Feel the security of knowing your future is abundant. Let your body respond. Let your breath change. Let a smile come to your lips. Let gratitude rise in your chest. For the subconscious hears only that. And if doubt whispers, if appearances mock you, remember this: appearances are shadows, yesterday's seeds. They are not the truth. The truth is what you feel now. The truth is what you dare to assume and clothe with emotion. Persist in that feeling, and though the facts resist, they must eventually bend. Persist, and the false assumption hardens into fact. Persist, and what was once fantasy becomes history. So tonight, when you close your eyes, do not merely think of wealth, feel wealthy. Do not merely picture success, feel successful. Do not merely say the words, let them burn with conviction. Enter the drama, play the role, and let the feeling carry you into sleep. For once the subconscious accepts it, the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. There is something extraordinary that happens when you begin to truly feel your assumption as real. At first, it may seem like you are pretending, like you are playing make-believe. And in a sense, you are. But remember what Neville so often said, imagination is reality. What you pretend with feeling in imagination, you become in fact in the outer world. Think of a child. A child does not sit and question whether their game of make-believe is true. When they put a crown on their head and declare themselves a king, they feel like a king. When they pick up a stick and call it a sword, they feel the weight of it as if it were forged in steel. And in that moment, their entire being responds as though it were real. That childlike faith is the doorway to creation. This is why Scripture tells us, unless you become as little children, you cannot enter the kingdom. It does not mean childish in mind, but childlike in faith, in imagination, in the willingness to assume without doubt, without compromise. The adult, chained to statistics and appearances, laughs at assumption. The child lives in it and therefore creates effortlessly. So when you lie down tonight, you are not pretending to be wealthy. You are practicing the law. You are rehearsing the truth until it becomes natural. At first, it will feel strange. Your senses will scream the opposite. The bank account may still look empty. The bills may still sit on the table. But if you persist, night after night, in feeling the relief of already being rich, in feeling the joy of already having, then that assumption will harden into fact. Let me tell you another story. A man once came to Neville, desperate and weary. His business had collapsed. His savings were gone, and he begged for luck. Neville said, "Forget luck. Tonight assume the end. Imagine yourself shaking hands as a successful man. Hear the words, 'Congratulations.' What a turnaround. Feel the pride and relief." The man obeyed, though it felt foolish. Weeks passed with no change, but he persisted. And then, through a series of coincidences, a partner appeared. Funds flowed in, and his business revived beyond what he had imagined. He said later, "Neville, it felt like life bent itself around me." Neville smiled and said, "No, you bent life by assumption. Do you see? The outer world does not lead you. It follows you, and it does not follow your words or your wishes. It follows your feelings. That is why it is dangerous to dwell in fear. If you fall asleep, rehearsing worry, if you let the day's failures echo in your heart, if you carry anxiety into the night, then by law, those feelings will reproduce themselves in the days to come. The subconscious does not argue, it does not discriminate. It accepts the feeling as fact and brings it forth. So if you feel poor, you plant poverty. If you feel unlucky, you plant misfortune. But if you feel wealthy, you plant wealth. If you feel favored, you plant fortune. This is why gratitude is so powerful, not as a trick, but as a natural fruit of assumption. When you truly feel that you already have, gratitude flows like breath. You cannot fake it, but once it rises naturally, it is the surest sign that the subconscious has accepted the seed. And so I ask you now, what seed will you plant tonight? Will you rehearse the lack, the doubt, the fear? Or will you dare to feel the end? Will you dare to say, "It is done"? And let relief wash over you as if the check were already in your hand. Remember, the feeling is not a step you add later. It is the essence of the entire act. You may say the words without feeling, and nothing will happen. But even a single act of assumption, deeply felt, can shake the world. So tonight, as you close your eyes, let your body grow heavy. Let your breath slow. and then choose the feeling. Choose to feel rich. Choose to feel secure. Choose to feel abundant. Let it be more real than the shadows of fact. And know this, once you impress the feeling upon the subconscious, the law is set in motion and the bridge of incidents will form to deliver it into your world. Do not underestimate the quiet moment before sleep. It is the most fertile soil you will ever know. When you lie in bed, half awake and half asleep, the door to the subconscious swings wide open. And in that moment, whatever you feel most intensely, the subconscious accepts without question. It is like planting a seed in the richest earth. That seed may be small, but once planted, it must grow. Consider the farmer. He does not dig up the soil each morning to check if the seed is working. He trusts the process. He waters it, he lets the sun do its work, and he waits. In time, the seed becomes the harvest. So it is with your assumptions. Do not plant tonight and then uproot tomorrow by saying, nothing has happened. Do not check for signs with anxious eyes. Instead, persist, trust, feel it real, and let it be. The subconscious, like the soil, cannot fail. And here lies the danger. Many people plant weeds without realizing it. They replay their failures, their debts, their worries as they drift into sleep. And then they wonder why life seems to repeat itself in an endless cycle. But the law is faithful. The subconscious will always bring forth what you plant. If you sow weeds, you reap weeds. If you sow abundance, you reap abundance. If you sow victory, you reap victory. So I ask you, what did you plant last night? Did you fall asleep in anger, in worry, in fear? Then you watered the seeds of struggle. But tonight, you can choose differently. Tonight you can sow wealth, joy, gratitude. And if you persist, your life cannot help but change. Let me give you another example. A woman once told Neville she was drowning in debt. Each night she went to bed rehearsing her fear, imagining the worst, and so each day seemed to bring more bills, more demands. Neville said to her, tonight stop rehearsing fear, instead imagine holding a receipt stamped paid in full. Feel the relief. Whisper thank you. She obeyed, though it felt like play. Within a week, an unexpected gift arrived, enough to clear her debt completely. She said, Neville, it felt like a miracle. And Neville reminded her, it was not a miracle, it was law. Do you see how simple this is? Yet because it is simple, many dismiss it. They say, surely it cannot be this easy. Surely the world is not shaped by imagination. And in that very doubt, they plant the seed of failure. They get exactly what they expect, and then they declare the law does not work. But the law never fails. It is we who fail to use it consciously. So tonight, I urge you, become conscious of what you plant. When you close your eyes, do not waste that sacred hour on fear or regret. Choose deliberately. If you long for wealth, feel wealthy. If you long for peace, feel peace. If you long for victory, feel victorious. For what you feel in that drowsy state is creation itself. Think of the subconscious as a loyal servant, one who never questions, never argues, never decides for itself. It only obeys. If you command it with fear, it obeys. If you command it with faith, it obeys. It does not know the difference between real and imagined. It only knows what is impressed upon it with feeling. And once impressed, it must bring it forth in the theater of your life. So I say to you, do not waste another night in fear. Tonight, choose your seed carefully. Plant only what you wish to harvest, and then trust the law. For imagination, once planted in the soil of the subconscious, is more real than any fact, more certain than any odds, more powerful than any lottery ticket. Imagine yourself tonight, lying quietly in your bed. The noise of the day begins to fade, the body grows heavy, and the mind drifts. In that gentle borderland, you hold in your hands the most powerful key in existence. Most people waste it. They replay the arguments of the day, the unpaid bills, the doubts that whisper, what if it never happens? And so they carry those impressions into the night. The subconscious accepts them faithfully, and life repeats itself in the same patterns of lack, struggle, and delay. But you, listening now, you know better. You will not waste this sacred hour. You will guard the doorway of sleep as though it were a treasure chest, for it is. You will not hand your subconscious weeds and expect roses. You will not fall asleep rehearsing the old story. Tonight you will choose deliberately. Do not imagine the struggle of buying more tickets, the nervous wait, the disappointment of loss. Instead, go straight to the end. Picture yourself already free, already wealthy, already celebrating. Feel the cool paper of the winning ticket in your hand. Hear the laughter of your loved ones as they say, "You've done it." Taste the relief in your chest as though a great weight has fallen away. And as you drift, let gratitude fill you. Whisper softly, "Thank you. It is done." That feeling will plant the seed, and the subconscious, faithful and tireless, will bring it forth in ways you cannot yet see. Neville once said, "Feeling is the secret," and he meant exactly this. The words you speak are powerless without feeling. The pictures in your mind are lifeless without emotion. But when feeling clothes the imaginal act, it becomes a living seed, pressed deep into the soil of creation. From that moment, it must grow. Do not be discouraged if tomorrow looks the same. The farmer does not despair when the seed has not yet broken the soil. He knows life stirs beneath the surface. So too with your desire. If you have planted it with conviction, it is alive already, weaving itself into your world. The phone call, the opportunity, the unexpected check. These are but the fruits of what you sowed in silence. Now here is a secret many overlook. It is not the length of your practice that matters, but the intensity of your feeling. 5 minutes of vivid, heartfelt assumption in that drowsy state is worth more than hours of lifeless affirmation. One seen, fully felt, can change the course of your life. Do not complicate it. Do not force it. Choose one moment that implies fulfillment, and let yourself enter it as naturally as breathing. Perhaps you hear yourself say, "I can't believe it, I've won." Perhaps you feel the warm grip of a friend's hand congratulating you. Perhaps you simply rest in the quiet relief of knowing your future is secure. Whatever you choose, let it feel real, and then let sleep carry it into the depths. That is enough. The law does not require effort, it requires faith, and faith is nothing more than loyalty to the unseen. To believe that what you have assumed in imagination is already true, even when the world screams the opposite. To persist in that knowing until the outer world bows to the inner. This is the art of faith. This is the courage of creation. So tonight, beloved, do not go to bed empty-handed. Do not hand your subconscious the scraps of fear and worry. Give it gold. Give it victory. Give it wealth. And trust, as the night deepens, that what you have planted is already alive, already moving, already inevitable. There was once a woman who came to Neville in despair. Her debts were heavy, her cupboards were nearly bare, and every night she fell asleep rehearsing her worries. The bills, the creditors, the fear of tomorrow. These were the seeds she unknowingly planted each night. And of course she woke each morning to the same bitter harvest. Neville told her, "Stop rehearsing lack, stop planting weeds. Tonight as you fall asleep, see the word paid, stamped in red across every bill. Hear yourself whisper with relief, 'It is finished.' Do not wonder how. Simply accept it as done." She obeyed. At first her mind resisted. The old fears returned. But she persisted gently. Night after night, within 2 weeks, unexpected money came. A forgotten claim was paid, and every debt was cleared. She told Neville it felt like a miracle, and he reminded her. It was not a miracle, it was law. This is the danger most never see. They think the outer world is cause. They tremble before circumstances. They say, "I cannot believe until I see." But the law is reversed. You cannot see until you believe. For belief, clothed in feeling, is the seed. The world you wake to is the fruit. Think of it this way. When you plant an apple seed, you do not expect oranges. You do not demand the seed sprout overnight. You trust the process, because you know the seed carries within it the entire tree. So too with imagination. One simple act, fully felt, contains within it the bridge of incidents, the unfolding path, the invisible currents that arrange themselves to bring your desire into view. You may not see the soil move, but the tree is already alive beneath it. So guard the doorway of sleep. If you enter it rehearsing failure, you will reap more failure. If you enter it rehearsing victory, victory must come. It cannot be otherwise. The subconscious is faithful. It does not debate. It does not argue. It accepts what you feel as true and multiplies it in the theater of day. Another student once tested this in a most unusual way. He did not desire money at first, but proof of the law. So each night before sleep, he imagined himself climbing a ladder. He felt the rungs beneath his hands, the strain in his arms, the rough texture of the wood. And during the day, he told himself, I will not climb a ladder. Yet, within a week, ladders appeared everywhere in his life. He was asked to fix something for a neighbor, to fetch boxes at work, and suddenly found himself, quite literally, on a ladder. He laughed aloud, knowing the law had worked. He then turned this same practice toward wealth. Each night, instead of the ladder, he felt the joy of holding money. He felt the ease of paying bills, the relief of being free. Within weeks, money began to flow in ways he had never expected. The law did not fail. It never fails. And here is something even more powerful. The law of reversibility. If winning the lottery makes you feel joy, then by law, joy deeply felt must bring you the experience of winning, or its equivalent. If receiving money fills you with relief, then relief assumed in imagination must produce the outer event that brings relief. Cause and effect are not one way. They are reversible. This is not speculation. It is law. So tonight, do not wait for money to make you grateful. Be grateful. And money must appear. Do not wait for victory to make you joyous. Be joyous. Be joyous. And victory must come. Do not wait for proof to feel secure. Feel secure, and the proof will follow. The order of creation is reversed. Feeling is first. Feeling is first. Fact is second. This is why Neville warned, do not go to sleep in the old state, for the state you carry into sleep is the state you will wake into. The subconscious is like fertile soil. It will grow whatever you plant. Weeds or roses, lack or wealth. It does not judge. It only multiplies. So tonight choose wisely. Before your head touches the pillow, ask yourself, what seed will I give to the night? Fear or faith? Lack or abundance? Defeat or victory? Choose one clear, imaginal scene. Feel it real. Let it carry you across the threshold of sleep. And trust, for the law is faithful. Imagine for a moment a farmer standing in his field at dusk. In one hand he holds a bag of seeds. In the other he holds nothing but worry. If he casts seeds into the soil, the earth will respond faithfully. If he scatters nothing but dust, the field will remain barren, no matter how much he prays. The subconscious is this field. It never denies you. It only reflects what you plant. The danger is this. Most men and women fall asleep scattering weeds, fear, resentment, regret, worry, and then they wake wondering why their lives look like tangled fields of thorns. Neville said, man is all imagination, and God is man, and exists in us and we in him. This means the images you dwell upon before sleep are not idle fantasies. They are living seeds. They are decrees that the subconscious takes as law. If you carry the feeling of being poor into sleep, you will wake to poverty. If you carry the feeling of being wealthy, you will wake to abundance, not because of chance, not because of statistics, but because imagination creates reality. A woman once tested this in a small way. She desired proof that the law was real, yet she feared to ask for something great. So each night before sleep, she imagined a friend handing her a bouquet of flowers. She felt the fragrance, the weight of the stems, the smile on her friend's face. Within days, a neighbor unexpectedly brought her a bundle of roses. She laughed, saying, I had asked for money, and I received roses. But Neville told her, you did not ask for money, you asked for flowers. The law cannot fail. If you can manifest roses, you can manifest riches. The principle is the same. And so she turned the practice toward wealth. Each night, she imagined her bank account swelling. She did not picture numbers on a screen, but felt the relief of paying every bill with ease. She felt the joy of giving to others. She felt the freedom of financial security. Within months, opportunities unfolded. A promotion came, unexpected checks arrived, and the fear that once bound her dissolved into gratitude. Now, why is sleep so crucial? Because in the twilight state between waking and slumber, the conscious guard relaxes. During the day, you argue with yourself. You say, it's impossible. The odds are against me. I have tried before and failed. But in the stillness of sleep, those protests fade. The subconscious stands open, receptive, fertile. It does not ask, is this possible? It only asks, what shall I accept as true? And the last feeling you carry into sleep is the seed it embraces. Think of the actor on stage. He may know he is not truly a king, yet he enters so deeply into the role that for the audience, the crown is real. He feels the weight of it, the majesty of it, and for that moment, he is king. You too are the actor in the theater of imagination. Each night you put on the role of poverty or wealth, of despair or joy. The role you fall asleep in is the role you will wake into. Another student wrote to Neville of a remarkable change. He had long struggled with money. Each night he went to bed worrying about bills. Then one evening, after hearing Neville, he decided to change. Instead of replaying worry, he imagined a simple scene, shaking a friend's hand as though being congratulated. He felt the warmth of the grip, the smile on his friend's face, the words, I'm so happy for you. He persisted, even when it felt foolish. Within weeks, his business took a sudden turn. Clients, he thought, lost returned. Contracts were signed. Money began to flow. He said, it was as though life bent itself around my imagination. This is not magic. This is law. The bridge of incidents, the unseen path, began the moment he planted the seed. Each handshake, each conversation, each opportunity was part of the unfolding harvest. So I ask you tonight, what role will you wear to bed? Will you carry the tatters of lack, or will you clothe yourself in the garment of wealth? Will you rehearse defeat, or will you step into victory? The choice is yours, and the law is faithful. There comes a moment, beloved, when you must learn the art of walking in two worlds. One is the world of appearances, the bills, the bank statements, the whispers of lack. The other is the world of imagination, the unseen reality that already contains your wealth, your freedom, your abundance. To live by appearances is to be tossed about like a ship in storm. To live by imagination is to walk on calm seas, even while the waves crash around you. Neville called this living in the end. It means refusing to measure your life by the facts of today, and instead measuring it by the state you have assumed. You may look at your bank account and see emptiness, yet within you declare, I am wealthy. You may face debts that scream for your attention, yet within you feel the ease of freedom. To the world, it looks like madness. To the awakened, it is the only sanity. One of Neville's students learned this lesson the hard way. He had imagined wealth, felt it, planted the seed. Yet when the outer world resisted, he grew impatient. He checked his account daily, measuring progress by numbers. He sighed when nothing changed. In truth, he was planting and uprooting the seed again and again. Finally, he surrendered. He stopped measuring. He stopped watching. He simply lived each day as though the wish were already fulfilled. And then, quietly, without fanfare, the harvest came. Not in the way he had expected, but in a way so natural that he almost overlooked it. This is the mystery of the bridge of incidents. Once the seed is planted, life arranges itself to fulfill it. But the bridge is not yours to design. You cannot dictate how, when, or through whom the wealth will come. If you insist on controlling the how, you may blind yourself to the unfolding. The subconscious is wiser than your conscious mind. It knows paths you cannot imagine. Consider the story of a woman who desired a home. Each night she imagined herself walking through the front door, placing her keys on the table, hearing the echo of her footsteps in the hall. Months passed with no sign. Friends told her to give up, to be realistic, but she persisted. Then one day, a conversation led to an introduction. The introduction led to a contract, and the contract delivered the very home she had imagined. She said, "Neville, it happened so naturally I nearly forgot I had imagined it. Do you see? This is why you must ignore appearances. The outer world is yesterday's harvest, not today's seed. To measure your future by your present is to deny the law. Faith is to walk as though the invisible were more real than the visible. And here is the great test. Can you hold the feeling of wealth when your senses scream poverty? Can you walk as king when the world still clothes you in rags? Can you whisper thank you when the evidence denies you? If you can, you have mastered the law. For the outer must bend to the inner, and never the other way around. Let me tell you something. The world will call you foolish. They will laugh when you speak of living as though rich. They will mock when you declare, I already have it. But when the harvest comes, and they will call you lucky. They will say fortune smiled on you. They will not understand that it was never fortune, never chance, but law. You persisted when others wavered. You ignored appearances when others bowed to them. You dared to live in the end. So tonight, as you prepare for sleep, take this discipline with you. Do not let the facts of the day become the seed of tomorrow. Plant only what you wish to harvest. If bills rise before your eyes, see them as already paid. If your account seems empty, feel it as full. If doubts whisper, answer them not with argument but with silence, turning instead to the vision of your fulfilled desire. This is not denial. This is wisdom. For facts are shadows, and shadows must yield to light. The light is your imagination. The law is your assumption. The power is your feeling. And when you master this, you will no longer live in reaction to the world. You will live as creator. You will no longer chase money. Money will chase you. You will no longer plead for fortune. You will know yourself as fortune itself. Think of the farmer, patient in his field. He scatters the seed, covers it with soil, and walks away. He does not wake each morning to dig it up and check if it is growing. He trusts the unseen process. He knows that within the darkness of the earth, the seed is alive, taking root, transforming invisibly. And in due season, the stalk will rise, the fruit will appear, and the harvest will be certain. So it is with your assumption. The moment you dare to feel yourself wealthy, the moment you enter sleep in possession of your desire, you have planted the seed. But here is the danger. Most people plant and then dig. They assume wealth tonight, and tomorrow they check their account with trembling. Seeing no change, they uproot the seed with doubt. They begin again, and again, and again, and thus the field bears no fruit. Beloved, learn the art of patience. Plant the seed and let it grow. Do not measure by days. Do not fret over signs. Signs will come. Yes, but they are not for you to demand. Your task is to persist in the end, to feel the state until it becomes natural, to carry yourself through the day, as though the harvest were already in your hands. A man once told Neville he had imagined wealth, but nothing came. Neville asked, "Did you persist?" The man replied, "I tried for a week." A week? Can you imagine a farmer expecting fruit the day after sowing? Neville said, "Persist until the feeling becomes natural, until you forget to doubt, until gratitude rises unbidden." Weeks later, that same man wrote back, saying opportunities had appeared, money had flowed, debts had been cleared. He said, "Neville, it felt like magic." But Neville reminded him, it was not magic, it was law. And that is what I remind you now. The law is exact. It does not fail. It is impartial, responding not to your worthiness, not to your effort, but to your assumption. Whether rich or poor, educated or unlearned, young or old, the law answers all with perfect fidelity. But hear me well, the greatest discipline you will face is not planting the seed. Planting is easy. The discipline is ignoring appearances. For appearances will mock you. They will rise like phantoms to test your faith. They will shout, look at your account, look at your bills, look at your lack. And in that moment, you must turn away. You must hold to the unseen. You must say within yourself, I know my wealth is already mine. I know the harvest is certain. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a sculptor working with marble. At first, the stone is rough, shapeless, without beauty. But the sculptor does not despair. He does not walk away saying, this is only stone, not a statue. He knows the statue is within. He sees with the inner eye what is not yet visible. With each stroke, he calls it forth. The stone resists, yet he persists, and in time, the vision becomes flesh. So too with you. The outer world may look like rough stone. Do not be deceived. The wealth, the freedom, the abundance is already within, waiting for the strokes of your imagination. Persist, 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 until the invisible becomes visible. And here is a secret. When you live in the end, when you refuse to bow to appearances, life itself becomes lighter. You no longer tremble at bills, you no longer fear the calendar. You walk with a quiet confidence, a joy that confuses the world. People will ask, what has changed? Why do you smile? And though nothing seems different outwardly, you will know the inner world has shifted, and soon the outer will follow. Let me tell you a testimony. A woman once burdened by debts imagined herself free. Each night she fell asleep, whispering, it is done. By day, she ignored the calls, the reminders, the appearances of lack. She walked as though free. Within a month, an unexpected check arrived, enough to cover every debt. She wept with gratitude, not only for the money, but for the discovery that imagination truly rules all. Do you see now? The outer world is powerless, except to echo your inner state. The bills, the bank accounts, the statistics, all are shadows. Shadows of yesterday's assumptions. Change the assumption, and the shadow must change. Ignore appearances, and the world will bend. So as you listen tonight, I tell you again, do not look at lack. Look at wealth. Do not bow to fear. Bow to faith. Do not plant weeds of worry. Plant seeds of fulfillment. And if you persist, if you dare to assume and to remain loyal to that assumption, the harvest is inevitable. Picture this: you are walking through a garden at dawn. The soil is damp, the air still cool, and all around you the ground looks barren. Yet beneath the surface, life is stirring. Roots are weaving their hidden patterns, seeds are awakening, and though you cannot see it, growth is happening. The garden appears empty, but you know the flowers will come. You trust the unseen. You walk away with peace in your heart. This is exactly how the law works in your life. The moment you imagine, the moment you feel the wish fulfilled, something stirs beneath the surface of your reality. You may not see it at once, but do not be deceived by appearances. Life is weaving, arranging, building the bridge of incidents that will lead you to your desire. The invisible garden is already alive. But here lies the test. Most people look at the soil and say nothing is happening. They grow impatient. They forget the seed they planted. They doubt the law. And because of their doubt, they return to the old state, and the soil bears weeds instead of fruit. Beloved, patience is not waiting idly. Patience is confident knowing. Patience is saying, though I do not yet see it, I know it is already mine. I know the law is at work. A man once told Neville that he imagined winning money, but the days passed and nothing came. Neville asked, how did you feel during those days? The man admitted, I felt anxious, restless, waiting for proof. And Neville said, there is your error. You imagined yes, but then you uprooted the seed with fear. Plant it once more, and this time, rest. The man obeyed. He fell asleep each night in quiet confidence, repeating simply, it is done. Within weeks, money flowed from unexpected channels, And this is the power of resting in faith. You do not force the flower to bloom. You do not command the seed to hurry. You rest in the knowing that life fulfills its own promise. The same law that governs the earth governs imagination. Plant the seed, and the harvest must come. Now let me ask you, when you lie in bed at night, what seed are you planting? Do you rehearse your worries, your debts, your doubts? Do you fall asleep in fear? If so, you are planting weeds, and weeds, like any seed, must grow. But tonight, you can change it. Tonight you can plant riches instead of lack, peace instead of fear, joy instead of sorrow. And if you persist, those seeds will grow as surely as the sun rises. Imagine it like a mirror. The outer world is not a cause. It is only a reflection. Stand before a mirror and frown, and the reflection frowns back. Smile, and the reflection smiles. But here is the mistake most people make. They try to change the reflection without changing the face. They beg the mirror to smile, but they do not smile themselves. They beg the world to bring them wealth, but they still imagine lack. Do you see the futility? The only way to change the reflection is to change yourself. Assume the feeling of wealth, of freedom, of joy, and the world must reflect it. It has no choice. A student once came to Neville saying, "I have tried everything, but nothing works." Neville asked, "What are you imagining at night?" The student confessed, "I fall asleep thinking of how much I need money." Neville smiled and said, "And so the world gives you more need. Change your seed. Fall asleep not in need, but in fulfillment. Imagine already having, already receiving. Do that, and the world will mirror abundance." The student obeyed. He imagined holding the check, feeling the relief, hearing his friends say, "Congratulations." Within days money arrived. He wrote back, "Neville, the mirror has changed." And Neville replied, "No, my friend, you have changed." And the mirror only followed. So tonight, beloved, let the last thought on your mind be not lack, but plenty, not fear, but faith, not waiting, but having. Whisper to yourself as you drift into sleep, "It is done. I already have it. I am already rich." Let that feeling seep into your bones, let it sink deep into the soil of your subconscious, and then rest, knowing that the harvest is inevitable. And here is the wonder. When you live this way, you become unshakable. Circumstances may roar, appearances may mock, but you will not tremble. You will smile. Because you know the truth, that appearances are only yesterday's news, and that tomorrow already belongs to your imagination. So I ask you now, what story will you plant tonight? What reflection will you choose to see tomorrow? What harvest will you dare to claim as yours? For the law will never deny you. It only asks that you assume, persist, and rest. Think of the ocean. Stand upon the shore and look out at the endless horizon. And what do you see? Waves rising and falling endlessly, effortlessly. You may throw a stone into the water and ripples will form, but soon the ocean swallows them up, returning to its calm rhythm. So too is your inner being. The world may hurl at you the stones of doubt, of bills, of delays, but if you rest in your inner knowing, those ripples fade, and the vast ocean of imagination continues to flow. But what happens when you give your attention to the ripples? You panic. You say, "Look, the water is disturbed, the ocean is broken." And in that panic, you forget the truth, that beneath it all, the depths remain untouched. The law is as unchanging as the sea. It only reflects what you impress upon it. So tonight, do not stare at the ripples. Do not panic at the surface. Rest in the depth of your imagination, knowing the seed you planted is alive. One woman came to Neville in despair. "I have been affirming for weeks," she said, "but nothing changes. Every day I wake to the same lack." Neville asked her gently, "What do you do before you sleep?" She admitted, "I replay the worries of the day. I see the bills. I feel the burden. And then I tell myself, tomorrow will be better." Neville answered, "There is your error. You plant weeds before sleep and hope for roses in the morning. You cannot sow thorns and reap blossoms. Tonight, sow roses. Tonight, Imagine the end. Do not rehearse lack, rehearse fulfillment. She obeyed. For the first time in years, she fell asleep, imagining herself free, debt cleared, abundance flowing. She felt tears of relief rise as she whispered, "Thank you, thank you." Within a week, unexpected money arrived that erased her greatest burden. She wrote back to Neville, "The garden has changed." And Neville replied, "No, my dear, you have changed." And the garden followed. Do you see now? The soil of the subconscious is always fertile. It does not choose between weeds and roses. It grows whatever you plant. If you plant fear, fear grows. If you plant joy, joy grows. If you plant wealth, wealth grows. The question is not whether the soil will respond. The question is, what seed will you give it? Imagine a farmer who plants seeds of wheat and then wakes each morning to complain that no apples have grown. We laugh at his foolishness. And yet, is that not what so many do? They plant seeds of worry, of poverty, of doubt, and then cry out, "Where is my wealth? Where is my harvest?" Beloved, the law cannot be mocked. You reap what you sow. Plant the seed of fulfillment, and fulfillment must come. And here lies a greater mystery. The seed does not grow in the day, but in the night. In the darkness, when no eyes are upon it, when no hands disturb it, the seed bursts open and begins its secret work. So it is with your imagination. The moment you drift into sleep, the seed takes root. In the silence of night, the subconscious begins to arrange, to weave, to bring forth. That is why I tell you, guard your sleep. Guard it as the sacred hour of creation. For what you plant, there will blossom in the light of day. Another man once said to Neville, "I feel foolish imagining wealth, for my circumstances deny it." Neville answered, "Would you feel foolish planting seeds in a barren field? No, for you know the soil will answer in its time. Do not call yourself foolish for planting riches in imagination. Call yourself wise, for you know the law will bring forth the harvest." The man obeyed. He imagined not piles of money, but the feeling of already being provided for. He pictured the ease of paying every bill, the peace of knowing he had enough. Within months, opportunities arose that secured his financial freedom. He told Neville later, "It came so naturally, I almost forgot that I had imagined it." And Neville reminded him, "That is always the way. The bridge of incidents feels ordinary, but it is the law fulfilling itself." So I ask you now, will you be the farmer who plants weeds and despairs of his barren field, or will you be the wise one who plants roses, knowing that though the ground looks bare tonight, tomorrow the blossoms will appear? Beloved, the choice is yours. Every night you hold the seeds of destiny in your hand. Every night you decide what to plant. Do not waste another night scattering weeds. Tonight choose abundance. Tonight choose joy. Tonight choose the certainty of wealth. Plant it deeply with feeling, and then rest. For the law will not fail you. And when you wake, walk the earth as though the harvest were already here. Smile at appearances, knowing they are only yesterday's shadow. Walk in faith, knowing tomorrow is already written in the seed you planted tonight. Let us pause for a moment and imagine something together. Imagine a great palace with endless halls and golden light streaming through its windows. Each hall is filled with treasures, gems, coins, fine silks, works of art, every symbol of wealth that human eyes have ever admired. Now imagine this, that palace is within you. Every night as you drift into sleep, you walk through its doors, and yet most wander those halls blind, seeing only the shadows of worry, rehearsing only the echo of fear. But you, beloved, hearing these words, will walk into the palace with eyes open. You will reach out and claim the treasures already yours, not because they are given by chance, not because you stumbled upon them, but because you remembered the truth, that the palace itself is your imagination, and that everything within it is but an outpicturing of what you dare to feel. Do not think of this palace as a dream too beautiful to be true, for your subconscious is richer than any vault on earth. It contains infinite channels, endless pathways, countless means by which wealth can appear in your waking world. What is a lottery ticket compared to the infinite storehouse of God within you? The ticket is but one channel, one shadow, one form, but the source is the same. Your imagination, your assumption, your feeling, clothed with conviction. So tonight when you lie in bed, do not wander the halls of despair. Walk into your palace, feel the treasures around you. Let your hands brush against the walls of gold. Hear the echo of footsteps in corridors that stretch beyond sight. See yourself seated in the banquet hall of abundance and whisper, "This is mine. It always has been mine." For to claim it in imagination is to guarantee its arrival in fact. Now some may say, "But Neville, I cannot fool myself. When I look at my life, I see only lack." And to them I say, you do not fool yourself. You free yourself. You free yourself from the chains of appearances, from the prison of the senses. The world outside is not a master. It is a servant. It is the clay that takes the form of the mold within you. And if you persist in shaping the mold of wealth, then no matter what your eyes see today, tomorrow must conform. Consider the story of a man who wrote to Neville in the early years. He was a clerk, earning little, buried in debt, mocked by his peers. Every night, he rehearsed his failure. He replayed the insults, the unpaid bills, the humiliation. And so, each morning, life repeated the same story. Then one day, in desperation, he obeyed Neville's words. He began to imagine differently. He saw himself shaking hands with men of influence. He heard himself congratulated. He felt himself walking with quiet confidence, as one who already possessed. At first, it felt absurd. His senses screamed, lies, lies. But he persisted. Within months, he was offered a position in a company he had once only dreamed of entering. His income multiplied. His debts were erased. He wrote to Neville with trembling hands. It worked. I thought I was pretending, but now I see I was planting. And Neville reminded him, you were not pretending, you were sowing. The world has only given you the harvest of your seed. What greater proof do you need? Again and again, testimonies declare the same pattern. Imagination first, reality after. Assumption first, manifestation after. Feeling first, fact after. And yet the world continues to doubt. But you will not doubt. For you have heard the secret. You know the soil cannot refuse the seed. Beloved, wealth is not a matter of odds. It is not a matter of luck. It is a matter of law. And law knows no exceptions. It does not say, this man shall reap, and that woman shall not. It does not say, this one is worthy, and that one is not. It says only, whatever you sow, you shall reap. Plant riches, reap riches. Plant lack, reap lack. The law is impartial. The law is exact. So tonight when you close your eyes, do not rehearse the weeds. Do not plant thorns. Plant roses. Plant gold. Plant abundance. And know that as surely as morning follows night, the harvest will come. And here is something to consider deeply. The longer you have lived in lack, the more evidence you have gathered to prove it true. But evidence is nothing but the shadow of yesterday's seed. Shadows cannot bind you unless you mistake them for substance. Tonight, you are free to plant anew. Tonight, you are free to declare, I am already wealthy. I am already favored. I am already the winner. And tomorrow the shadow will shift to reflect it. Do not ask, how long? The seed does not answer to time. It answers only to persistence. A seed planted in rich soil, watered with feeling, guarded with faith, must break forth. Whether in days or weeks or months, the law does not fail. Your task is not to measure the clock, but to persist in the assumption. Time itself bends to faith. So rest, beloved. Rest in the certainty that your palace is real, your seed is alive, your harvest is certain. Rest in the joy of already having. Rest in the gratitude that proves possession. And as you drift into sleep, let your final thought be not one of lack, but one of fulfillment. Whisper, it is done. I am rich. I am free. And the law, impartial and exact, will bring it forth in its perfect season. Let us go even deeper now. Imagine that wealth is not something you pursue, but something that breathes through you, like the very air. When you breathe, do you beg the air to enter your lungs? You simply inhale, and the air rushes in, eager to fill you. So too with abundance. The universe is overflowing with it. But until you dare to inhale it through imagination, you walk as one starving in the midst of a feast. Picture yourself standing before a flowing fountain. The water pours endlessly, never stopping, never tiring. Now imagine that each drop is $1, each stream a flow of opportunity, each surge a wave of prosperity. Would you stand at the edge, fearful to dip your hands? Would you hesitate, worrying that the fountain may run dry? No. You would plunge your hands into the cool current. You would drink deeply. You would let the water wash over you. This fountain is your own imagination, beloved, and wealth is its natural outpouring. But here lies the secret. The fountain does not flow where there is doubt. Doubt is the stone that clogs the stream. Fear is the dam that halts the waters. To release the flow, you need only step into the certainty that it is already yours. To feel the wealth as natural, as effortless, as the air you breathe. Do you recall how a child plays? A child puts on a crown of paper and declares himself a king. He does not ask permission. He does not check the treasury. He does not wait for applause. He feels it real, and in that moment, the crown of paper becomes gold. That is the secret of assumption. Adults laugh at the child, saying, "It is only play." But what is the outer world, if not God's own play? Creation is divine make-believe, and the law is childlike faith. Unless you become as a little child, Scripture says you cannot enter the kingdom. Why? Because the child knows how to assume without question. Now consider this. What if you went to bed tonight and played as the child does? What if you crowned yourself with the state of wealth? What if you entered the role so fully that you forgot the stage of lack, forgot the audience of doubt, forgot the script of poverty, and lived entirely in the drama of abundance? Would not the outer world, compelled by law, rearrange itself to match your role? Yes, beloved, it would. For life is but the echo of your play, the mirror of your assumption, the shadow of your feeling. Let me tell you a story, one shared often in hushed voices. A woman once longed for relief from financial struggle. Night after night, she lay in bed weeping, rehearsing her debts, imagining conversations with creditors, planting seeds of despair. One evening, she decided to test this teaching. Instead of rehearsing lack, she chose one simple imaginal act. She saw herself holding a check, her name written upon it. She felt the paper in her hand. She heard the sound of her own voice whispering, "It is done. Thank you." At first, it felt false. At first, her senses rebelled, but she persisted. Within a week, an inheritance she had long forgotten surfaced. The check arrived in her mail, the exact image she had rehearsed. She wrote with tears of gratitude, "Neville, it was not luck, it was not chance, it was law. The world only mirrored what I had dared to feel." Do you see? The law does not mock you. It does not deny you. It does not ask for effort or labor beyond what you can give. It asks only this: dare to assume, dare to feel, dare to persist, and the harvest must come. Beloved, imagine your own life as a field. For years, you may have sown weeds of doubt. You may have planted seeds of fear. And now you look at the barren ground and say, "There is no harvest." But I tell you, tonight you can sow anew. Tonight you can drop into the soil of sleep the golden seed of wealth, watered with gratitude, pressed down with feeling, guarded by persistence. And though the field looks barren today, tomorrow it will sprout, and the next day it will blossom. And soon you will walk in the garden of abundance. Do not despise the small sprout. Do not uproot it by doubt. When you see the first sign of change, rejoice, for it is the proof that the law is already at work. Every coin, every gift, every opportunity, no matter how small, is the first fruit of your assumption. Bless it, nurture it, give thanks for it, and it will multiply. Remember this truth. The world is not against you. Life is not mocking you. Reality is not fixed. It is clay, soft and malleable, waiting for your touch. With every assumption, you press your hand into the clay. With every feeling, you shape its form. And with persistence, the sculpture of your inner state becomes the monument of your outer life. So tonight, as you lie in bed, do not think of money as distant, as difficult, as delayed. Think of it as natural, as inevitable, as already here. Feel the ease of paying every bill, the joy of sharing with others, the quiet confidence of knowing you are always provided for. Walk through the palace of your imagination. Drink from the fountain of your wealth. Play as the child who wears a crown of gold. And whisper, "It is done." For in that whisper lies the seed. And the seed, once planted, must grow. Close your eyes now. Take a deep breath. Let the air fill your chest. And as you exhale, release every weight of the day. Feel your body sink deeper into the bed, as if the mattress were gently cradling you. Every muscle loosens. Every thought begins to fade. You are safe. You are loved. You are about to enter the state where dreams plant seeds that bloom in waking life. Now imagine yourself walking toward a grand door. The door is carved with golden patterns, shimmering softly in the dim light. Upon it are engraved the words, "Here lies your fortune." Place your hand upon the handle. Feel its cool metal under your fingers. Turn it slowly. The door swings open, and you step inside. Before you stretches a great hall, filled with light so warm it seems alive. The floor beneath your feet glitters as though made of polished crystal. At the center of the hall is a large table, and upon that table lies an envelope with your name on it. Walk toward it. With every step, feel a wave of anticipation rising. You reach out. You pick up the envelope. It feels heavy, thick with the weight of abundance. Tear it open. Inside, you see a check written in your name for an amount, so vast it makes you smile. See the numbers clearly. Feel the paper against your skin. Hold it. Breathe in the fragrance of new opportunity. Whisper softly, "It is mine. It is done." Now hear the voices of loved ones around you. Imagine a friend or family member rushing to your side, their eyes wide with excitement. "Congratulations," they say. Hear their laughter, feel their embrace, sense their joy radiating into you. Let the warmth of that moment fill every corner of your being. This is not a dream to come. This is happening now. This is your reality. Now imagine yourself walking into a bank. You hand the check to the teller. Feel the smooth surface of the counter under your fingertips. Watch as the teller smiles and says, "This will be deposited immediately." Hear the sound of the machine as the numbers are entered. See the balance on your account rising higher and higher until it overflows. Feel the relief, the safety, the freedom. Smile, for you are free. Take another deep breath, and now imagine your life with this abundance. See yourself paying every bill with ease, writing the checks effortlessly, knowing money flows through you like an endless river. See yourself blessing others, giving freely, helping those you love, and hearing the words, "Thank you, you've changed my life." Feel how natural it is. Feel how good it feels to give. Now, beloved, imagine your home transformed. See yourself opening the door to a house filled with light, comfort, and beauty. Walk through the rooms, touch the furniture, smell the fragrance of fresh flowers placed upon the table. Look at the view from the window, the garden, the city lights, the ocean waves, whatever calls to your soul. This is your dwelling now. Live in it. Own it. Breathe in the certainty that it is yours. And now, imagine lying once again in your bed, but this time the bed is in your new home. The sheets are soft, the air is filled with the scent of wealth and peace. You close your eyes, knowing you are cared for, knowing you are rich, knowing you are free. Whisper once again, "It is done. It is mine. Thank you." And drift into the sweetest sleep, carrying this vision into the womb of the subconscious. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Let your body sink deeper into the bed, and let your imagination rise higher and higher. Feel the gentle pulse of your heart. It beats not with worry, but with certainty. Tonight you will impress wealth into the very core of your being. Imagine now that you are standing on a stage. A velvet curtain falls behind you, and before you is an audience applauding with thunderous joy. They are clapping for you, celebrating your success. You bow your head with gratitude. You have just been announced as the winner of a great prize. Hear the words echoing, "Tonight's winner is you." The sound vibrates in your chest. You feel it real. Now shift the scene. You are walking into a luxury hotel lobby. The ceiling stretches high above you, adorned with golden chandeliers that sparkle like stars. The marble floor glistens under your feet. You approach the front desk, and the concierge smiles warmly, handing you keys to the presidential suite. You glide through the lobby, every eye admiring your presence, every step filled with confidence. You know you belong here because wealth is your natural state. Open the door to your suite. Step inside. A vast room opens before you, with wide glass windows overlooking the city skyline at night. The lights twinkle like jewels scattered across velvet. A chilled bottle of champagne sits waiting for you on a silver tray. You pour a glass, feel the cool bubbles against your lips, and smile. This is abundance. This is freedom. This is yours. Now imagine yourself on a white sand beach. The waves roll gently to shore, sparkling under the golden sun. You walk barefoot across the sand, the ocean breeze brushing your skin. In the distance, a private villa awaits you. Palm trees sway, the air smells of salt and tropical flowers. As you enter the villa, you see friends and family gathered, celebrating life with you. The sound of laughter fills the air. A feast is laid out, fruits, dishes, and desserts. You raise a glass and say, "To abundance, to freedom, to joy." Shift again. You are in a quiet room, sitting at a desk. Before you is a journal bound in leather. You open it, and inside are pages already written with your story of success. You read the words, "I am wealthy. I am free. Money flows to me with ease. Every day I live in gratitude." As you turn each page, the words become more vivid, as though glowing with golden light. Feel the truth of them sink into you. They are not affirmations to wish for. They are declarations of who you already are. Now imagine you are watching television. The lottery numbers are being announced. One by one, they appear on the screen. And one by one, you realize they match the numbers you hold in your hand. The announcer's voice grows louder. "These are the winning numbers." You look down at your ticket. It is an exact match. Your hands tremble with excitement. Tears rise in your eyes. You whisper, "It is done. It is mine." The crowd on the screen cheers, and so do you. Feel the rush in your chest. Feel the laughter bubbling from within. Hear the voices of loved ones as they embrace you. You did it. You've won. Your life will never be the same. Let that feeling fill you so deeply that it overflows. That joy, that certainty, is the seed planted in your subconscious. Now imagine your future life unfolding. See yourself traveling across the world. One moment you are walking through the streets of Paris, hearing the language of romance flowing all around you. The Eiffel Tower glows above you, and you dine in a fine restaurant where the air is filled with music. Another moment you are in Tokyo, standing under neon lights, tasting food unlike anything you've ever had before. Another moment you are sailing across the Mediterranean, the water stretching endlessly before you, the sun warm upon your skin. With every scene, feel the ease of it. You are not striving. You are not struggling. You are simply living in abundance. Wealth flows like breath. You never wonder how just is. You are free. Now bring it closer to home. See yourself walking into a store, perhaps one you have always dreamed of shopping in. You walk through the aisles, and you do not look at price tags, because you know everything here is within your reach. You pick the clothes you love, the jewelry that shines, the shoes that fit perfectly. You carry them to the counter, and when the cashier rings them up, you smile and pay effortlessly. Money flows out, and money flows back in, endlessly. Shift once more, you are sitting at a large wooden table in your dream home. The fireplace glows warmly, and candles flicker softly. A meal has been laid out before you, not of extravagance, but of comfort and love. Family and friends are gathered, and they look at you with pride, with joy, with gratitude. They know you are the one who brought light into their lives. You have not only received wealth, you have shared it, and in their eyes you see the reflection of your abundance multiplied. Take another deep breath. Whisper softly in your mind, "It is done. It is mine. I am wealthy now." Feel the truth of it echo in your chest. Let your subconscious take it deeper and deeper. And now, as you drift towards sleep, carry all these images with you. The applause of the stage, the luxury of the hotel, the freedom of the beach, the thrill of the winning ticket, the love of family at your table. Let them weave together into a golden dream. And know that tonight, as you rest, the seed of wealth is planted, and life itself will bend to bring you the harvest. Now imagine this. You are sitting in your dream car. The leather seats embrace you, soft yet firm, and the steering wheel feels perfect in your hands. You hear the gentle hum of the engine, powerful yet calm. Outside the window, the world passes by, but you are unhurried. You drive with freedom, knowing this car is yours. You did not struggle for it, you did not beg for it. It came to you because wealth flows naturally in your life. The road stretches endlessly, smooth and clear, a symbol of your limitless path ahead. Now see yourself walking into a bank. The cool air, the polished counters, the quiet professionalism of the staff. You approach a desk, hand over a deposit slip, and the teller smiles as she confirms the number. Congratulations, your balance is now in the millions. You glance at the screen, and the zeros stretch on, more than you ever imagined. Yet instead of shock, you feel calm, as though this has always been true. Because it has. Your subconscious already accepted it, and the outer world is simply catching up. Shift the scene again. You are standing on the balcony of a penthouse. The city lights shimmer below you, cars moving like streams of energy. The night sky above is vast and filled with stars. You breathe in deeply, the cool air filling your lungs. You whisper, "This is my life now. This is who I am." And as you say it, you feel the entire universe respond with a quiet yes. Now let's go deeper. Picture yourself holding a check. It is large, almost ceremonial. The numbers written on it are vast. 10 million, 20 million, 50 million. You trace the digits with your finger, feeling the ink under your touch. People around you are clapping, congratulating you, cameras flashing. But in your heart, there is stillness. You know this is not luck, not chance. This is the law, the unfolding of what you assumed to be true. Now imagine generosity. You are in a room with people who once struggled, families who once had nothing, and you stand before them, not with pity, but with joy, handing them envelopes filled with checks, gifts, opportunities. The children laugh, their parents' eyes shine with tears of gratitude, and you feel a deep warmth spreading through your chest, because wealth is not only for you, it flows through you. You are a channel, a river of abundance that nourishes everyone you touch. Shift once more. See yourself walking through an art gallery. Walls covered with paintings you have collected. Masterpieces surround you, treasures of beauty that you have chosen. Because you could. You pause before one canvas, colors alive with passion, and you know that you bought it not for status, but for love. Money has given you freedom to surround yourself with what inspires you most. Now imagine yourself at peace. You are lying on a hammock in a garden. The air is warm. The sky is clear. The scent of flowers drifts through the breeze. Birds sing softly. And in your heart, there is no worry, no tension, no fear. Bills are gone. Debt is gone. Pressure is gone. There is only peace. Wealth has dissolved the weight from your shoulders, and life feels light again. You sway gently, knowing abundance is permanent, eternal, unstoppable. Take another breath. Whisper within, "I am the source. I am the channel. I am already wealthy." Feel it as fact, not as hope. Let the feeling settle into your body, warm and steady, like a gentle flame that never fades. Now imagine your name being announced in places of honor. Imagine invitations arriving, envelopes with golden seals, messages on fine stationery. You are invited to events, to gatherings, to circles of influence, and you attend not with arrogance, but with quiet confidence. You belong here. Your presence radiates calm power, and everyone feels it. You are the one who has, the one who gives, the one who embodies wealth. And now, picture yourself in silence. No applause, no crowds, no parties. Just you, alone, standing in a quiet field under the stars. The grass brushes your legs, the night air is cool, and the universe above stretches endless. You close your eyes and say, I am rich, I am free, I am chosen. And in the silence, the stars themselves seem to pulse in agreement. This is your truth. This is your reality. Now imagine waking up in the morning. The sunlight pours gently through the curtains, warm and golden. You stretch, feeling the softness of expensive sheets around you, the comfort of a bed that feels like it was made for kings. You roll over, and on the nightstand you see a note, an envelope with your name. You open it slowly, and inside there is a check, another gift, another sign of wealth flowing easily into your life. You smile because you realize this has become normal. You are no longer surprised. You expect wealth. It is your natural state. See yourself now at an airport. You walk through the terminal, not hurried, not stressed, but calm and free. You carry no worries of cost, no concerns about limits. In your hand is a first-class ticket, embossed with gold. You walk into the lounge, greeted with smiles, glasses of champagne offered freely. You are escorted to your seat, spacious and luxurious. The plane takes off, and as the earth falls away beneath you, you feel light, free, boundless. Money has given you wings. The world is open to you. Now picture yourself walking barefoot on the sand of a private beach. The waves crash softly. The air smells of salt and freedom. Behind you stands a villa, white stone glowing in the sun, palm trees swaying gently. It is your home. You know it because you chose it. You designed it. And as you look back at the house, you whisper, I am abundant. This is who I am. See yourself in another moment, surrounded by family. You are seated at a long table. Food is abundant. Laughter fills the air. Everyone is carefree. Your loved ones smile at you with gratitude, not because of what you give them, but because they see your joy. You know that your abundance has created their abundance. You are not only wealthy in money, you are wealthy in love, in relationships, in peace. Now imagine your phone buzzing with notifications, emails, texts, messages, each one carrying news of money received, a client paying early, an investment yielding returns, a prize announced, an unexpected gift transferred. You scroll through your account, and every number is larger than the last. It never stops growing. You whisper, this is the law. This is my natural flow. Shift the scene. You are standing in a store. Around you are shelves of luxury, jewelry that sparkles, clothes of fine fabric, items crafted with beauty. You walk through calmly, knowing you can choose anything. Price tags are no longer barriers. Money is no longer a question. You pick what you love, not what you can afford. That is freedom. Now see yourself at night, sitting by a fireplace. The flames dance warmly, casting golden light around the room. You hold a glass of wine, expensive, rich in flavor. The fire crackles, and you feel safe. Outside, the world may chase, may worry, may strive. But you are still. You are secure. You have more than enough. You always will. Now imagine being in nature, walking through a forest. Sunlight filters through the leaves, birds sing above you, and your steps are light. Money has given you freedom not to escape into luxury alone, but to embrace life itself. Every step feels rich. Every breath feels abundant. You carry no weight, no burden, no fear. You are aligned with the truth. Abundance is your birthright. Picture yourself again in a moment of generosity. A friend comes to you in need, eyes filled with worry, but instead of joining in fear, you smile, open your hand, and provide. Not with hesitation, not with doubt, but with certainty, because you know there is more where this came from. You are a fountain, never ending. The relief on your friend's face fills you with warmth. That moment of giving is richer than any possession. Now let yourself drift into yet another vision. You are in a grand library, shelves filled with books bound in leather and gold. Knowledge surrounds you. Wealth has given you time, the most precious resource. You sit in silence, reading, studying, expanding. You are rich, not only in money, but in wisdom. You are wealthy in spirit, in growth, in truth. And once more you shift. You are standing on stage. The audience claps, thousands of hands applauding. Lights shine, cameras flash, people chant your name. They see you as successful, as abundant, as someone who has achieved greatness. And yet within you are humble. You know that all of this began in imagination, in the quiet moments before sleep. You whisper to yourself, I created this. I am the source. Now let's return to stillness. You are lying once more in your bed. The sheets are soft. Your breath is slow. Your body is calm. And as you drift, you repeat softly, I am rich. I am free. I am chosen. You let the words blend with the images. You let the feelings sink into your bones. And as sleep takes you, you know the seed is planted. The harvest is certain. Now imagine yourself stepping into a grand lobby of a luxury hotel. The floor is polished marble, gleaming under chandeliers that sparkle like diamonds. The staff greets you warmly by name. You do not check prices, you do not worry about the bill, because wealth flows so freely that experiences like this are simply natural. You walk slowly, calmly, absorbing the richness all around you, and you say to yourself, this is my world. I am the owner of this abundance. Picture now a future moment. You wake up one morning, and as you reach for your phone, you see notifications, multiple deposits, money transferred into your account overnight. Numbers rise higher than you've ever seen, and instead of surprise, you smile. Because you expected this. You knew it would happen. Your subconscious has delivered exactly what you impressed upon it. You whisper, thank you, it is done. Now shift the scene. You are in a car, sleek, powerful, brand new. The leather seats embrace you. The engine hums softly beneath your touch. You place your hand on the steering wheel and feel the thrill of ownership, the joy of freedom. This is not about the car itself. It is about what it represents. Freedom, abundance, limitless choices. You drive along a wide open road, the horizon endless, and the world feels like it belongs to you. See yourself walking through your dream home. The doors open silently. The rooms are filled with light. Each step echoes with wealth. You run your hand along a polished wooden table, feel the cool stone of the countertops, gaze out at a view that stretches far into the distance. This is your creation. This is your abundance made visible. You smile because you know this is not fantasy. This is your reality. Now imagine a celebration. Friends and family surround you, glasses lifted high. They toast to your success, to your happiness, to your freedom. The sound of laughter fills the air. The sparkle of joy is everywhere. You look around and realize that the greatest part of wealth is not only what you own, but what you can share. You are the center of light, and your abundance spreads to everyone you love. See yourself now at a quiet desk. In front of you is a notebook, open and blank. You pick up a pen and you begin to write numbers. Big numbers. Numbers that grow larger and larger across the page. Each number feels real. Each number feels certain. You pause, smile, and realize that your subconscious is already arranging everything to match those numbers. You whisper, I am ready. I am wealthy. I am free. Picture now a beautiful garden. Flowers bloom in every color. A fountain flows softly in the center. The air smells fresh and alive. You walk slowly, breathing deeply, feeling calm. This garden is yours. It represents the richness of your inner world. Every flower is a symbol of money flowing to you. Every drop of water in the fountain is wealth multiplying endlessly. You sit on a bench, close your eyes, and feel that truth, abundance is natural. Now imagine yourself in a city at night. Lights glow all around. Skyscrapers shine against the sky. You walk with confidence, dressed in clothes that make you feel powerful, alive, magnetic. Every step you take, people notice you, admire you. You are wealthy, radiant, unstoppable. The city itself feels like it bows to your presence. You whisper again, I am rich. I am limitless. Picture yourself once more lying in bed, but this time with a smile of deep satisfaction. You know money is flowing to you, not as a possibility, but as a certainty. You repeat softly, it is already done. I am already wealthy. You feel it in your body, you breathe it in with every inhale. With every exhale, you release doubt. With every breath, you step deeper into your natural abundance. Now imagine yourself standing before a mirror. You look into your own eyes, and what you see reflected back is not worry, not lack, but absolute confidence. You see the face of someone wealthy, radiant, magnetic. You whisper softly to your reflection, you are rich, you are powerful, you are free. And as you speak, you notice the sparkle in your eyes growing brighter, the lines of your face softening with peace, the aura around you glowing with abundance. This is not a mask. This is the real you, revealed at last. Picture yourself now walking into a grand hall, where a golden banquet is prepared. The table stretches endlessly, covered with foods, wines, fruits, and treasures. Each plate is filled, each glass sparkles, and every seat is waiting for you. You sit down at the head of the table, and as you do, the room fills with applause. This banquet is for you. It represents the feast of life that abundance prepares for you. And as you reach for the food, you feel not hunger, but satisfaction. You know you are being served by the universe itself. Shift the scene. You are at the ocean. Waves crash gently on the shore, the sound steady, eternal. Each wave that rolls in represents money flowing toward you. You watch the horizon, endless and blue, and realize that the ocean never asks, will another wave come? It knows with certainty that waves never stop. So too is your abundance. It flows endlessly. Wave after wave, tide after tide, unbroken, eternal. You breathe in the salty air and whisper, money flows to me just like these waves. It never ends. Now imagine yourself walking into a store. Every item shines with beauty and luxury. You pick things up without hesitation. Clothes, jewelry, gifts for those you love. You do not ask the price. You do not feel worry. Instead, you feel joy, ease, freedom. Every purchase is a celebration of your abundance. And every moment in that store reminds you, I can afford anything. I live in limitless supply. You walk out carrying your treasures, smiling, confident, and fulfilled. Picture a moment in the future. You are sitting with your family, your friends, your loved ones. You hold their hands, you look into their eyes, and you see joy reflected back. They are relaxed, happy, cared for. You realize that your abundance has not only blessed you, but it has lifted everyone around you. You hear their laughter, you feel their gratitude, and you understand the truth. Abundance shared multiplies, and in that moment, your wealth feels infinite. Now see yourself in a quiet study. The room is lined with books, the air calm and warm. You open a drawer, and inside are stacks of money, perfectly arranged, crisp and new. You touch the bills, feel the texture, smell the paper, hear the rustle as you flip through them. It feels so real because it is real. Your subconscious has already accepted this image. The drawer is always full, no matter how much you take. You whisper, I live in overflow. My supply is endless. Shift the scene again. You are on a stage. Before you stands an audience clapping, celebrating you, not because of luck, not because of chance, but because you have become the embodiment of abundance itself. You bow slightly, smile, and feel the energy of admiration and respect pouring toward you. This moment is not about fame, it is about recognition. Recognition of your inner wealth, recognition of the truth you carry, recognition that you are abundant in every way. Now imagine walking into your bank. The teller greets you warmly, and as you look at the screen, the numbers in your account are beyond anything you ever expected. 6 figures, 7 figures, endless growth. Instead of shock, you feel calm joy. You nod, smile, and know this is exactly what you deserve. You leave the bank lighter, freer, more certain than ever that money belongs to you. Finally, picture yourself returning to bed. You lie down with deep peace. Your mind is quiet, your heart full. You know that tonight as you sleep, every image, every scene, every feeling is planting seeds in the rich soil of your subconscious. You do not need to control the harvest. You only need to rest, to trust, to allow, and so, with a final whisper, I am wealthy, I am free. It is already done. You drift into deep, effortless sleep. Now imagine yourself boarding a private jet. The stairs gleam under the sunlight as you ascend with ease and confidence. Inside, the seats are soft, the air is fresh, the cabin filled with quiet luxury. You sit down by the window and look at the world below as the jet lifts off. This flight is not just transportation, it is a symbol of your freedom, your limitless access to life. You whisper to yourself, this is natural, abundance is my natural state. Shift to another scene. You are in a quiet garden at dawn. The grass sparkles with dew, the flowers bloom with color, and the air carries the scent of new beginnings. As you walk, golden coins begin to appear beneath your feet. Each step reveals more, as though the earth itself produces money wherever you go. You realize that wealth is not something you chase, it is something that appears wherever you stand. You pause, pick up a coin, and smile. Everywhere I go, abundance follows me. Now picture yourself at a desk, opening envelopes. Each one you open contains a check, some small, some large, some so massive you laugh in delight. The stack seems endless, and with each envelope your confidence grows. You feel gratitude flowing through your body, a calm certainty. I always receive, I always attract, I am always provided for. The pile of envelopes becomes a mountain of money, and you realize it will never run out. Imagine now, you are walking through a vast library. The shelves tower above you, filled with books of knowledge, wisdom, and power. As you pull a book from the shelf and open it, golden light pours from its pages. The words transform into wealth itself, money, opportunities, success. You close the book, and the wealth remains in your hands. You understand. Knowledge and imagination are the true roots of abundance, and you hold them both. Picture yourself on a beach at sunset. The sky glows pink and orange, the waves roll gently, and beside you sits a chest. You open it, and inside are jewels, gold, and treasures shining in the fading light. You touch them, feel their weight, their texture, their reality. The treasure chest is deep, without bottom, without end. You whisper, my treasure is infinite. I live in endless supply. Now see yourself giving. You hand money to a friend, pay a bill with ease, donate to a cause, buy gifts for those you love. But notice something powerful. The more you give, the more flows back. Each act of generosity multiplies your abundance. It feels like breathing in and out. Effortless, natural, constant. You realize that giving is never losing. Giving is multiplying. And you smile as you say, the more I give, the more I receive. Imagine a future where you are free from every burden. No debts, no worries, no limits. You walk into your home, and everything around you radiates beauty and comfort. The furniture, the lights, the art, the space, it all reflects your wealth. You sit down on your couch, close your eyes, and breathe in gratitude. You know that every detail of this life was once a seed planted in imagination, and now it blooms before you. Picture a vault. The door is massive, golden, glowing with power. You step forward and place your hand upon it. The door swings open effortlessly, and inside you see mountains of gold, stacks of bills, endless treasures. This vault is yours. It has always been yours. It will always be yours. You walk inside and feel completely at home. You whisper, "My wealth is infinite, and it belongs to me." Finally, imagine lying down again in your bed. You feel the softness of the sheets, the weight of the blanket, the calm rhythm of your breath. The images you have just lived, the jet, the garden, the chest, the vault, float gently through your mind. They are no longer fantasies. They are instructions to your subconscious. And as you drift into deep sleep, you know that every scene is already taking shape in your waking world. You do not wonder how, you simply rest, trusting the law. Imagination creates reality. Now imagine yourself walking into a grand hotel lobby. The marble floors gleam under your feet. Chandeliers hang above like drops of light, and a concierge greets you with respect and warmth. You approach the desk and they hand you a key, a golden key. On it is engraved your name, along with the words, "Suite of Abundance." You take the elevator up, and when the doors open, you enter the most luxurious suite you have ever seen. Floor-to-ceiling windows reveal a city sparkling at night. The bed is vast and soft, the air is filled with fragrance, and everywhere you look, beauty surrounds you. You whisper, "This is my life. I live in luxury. Abundance is natural to me." Now shift. Picture yourself standing on a balcony overlooking a vast ocean. The waves crash rhythmically. The horizon stretches endlessly. And as you breathe in, you feel infinite supply rushing into your being. With every breath, wealth flows in. With every exhale, fear leaves you. It becomes a cycle, a law, a rhythm of life. You realize abundance is not occasional. It is as constant as your breath, as natural as your heartbeat. Imagine now you are in a grand hall, filled with people celebrating you. They clap, they cheer, they congratulate you. Some say, "You've done it." Others whisper, "Your success inspires me." You look around and see that all this joy is not just about money. It is about your power to imagine, to assume, to feel, and to receive. You hear the words, "You always win." "Life always blesses you." And deep inside, you know it is true. Picture yourself holding a golden cup. You lift it to your lips and drink. The taste is sweet, rich, filling. As you drink, you feel your entire body radiating light. That light transforms into wealth, flowing through your veins, expanding outward until it touches everyone around you. Friends, family, strangers, all are blessed because you dared to receive. You understand now, my wealth blesses the world. Now imagine a small seed in the palm of your hand. You place it into the ground, cover it with soil, and wait. Slowly, a sprout emerges, then a tree, then branches filled with fruit, golden fruit, glowing with light. You pick one, taste it, and it is abundance itself. The tree continues to produce, season after season, never ending. You smile and whisper, "I have planted the seed of wealth, and it will never stop bearing fruit." Visualize yourself in a marketplace. Everywhere you turn, people are eager to give you gifts, coins, clothes, jewels, food. They smile as they hand them to you, as though it is natural, as though you were always meant to receive. You try to thank them, but they insist, "It is yours. It always has been." You laugh in delight as you realize the whole world conspires to enrich you. Now see yourself stepping into a mirror. As you pass through, you find yourself in a reality where money flows easily, where opportunities arrive without effort, where you live in a state of freedom. In this mirror world, abundance is not something rare. It is the very air you breathe. You look back at the old world and realize the mirror is not fantasy. It is truth. You have crossed into it, and you will never return to lack. Finally, imagine the night sky above you filled with stars. One by one, the stars fall gently into your hands, and each star becomes money, gold, blessings. You cannot catch them all. They are endless. You simply open your arms and allow them to pour over you like rain. You whisper, "The universe is generous. I live in an endless shower of blessings." And now, as you lie in your bed, hear these words deep inside. I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am favored. I am always provided for. I attract money naturally, effortlessly, joyfully. Wealth is not outside me. Wealth is me. I am imagination, and imagination creates my world. There are always those who hear these words and whisper in doubt. It sounds beautiful, but does it really work? Has anyone truly seen money, wealth, freedom arrive just by imagining? And so I share with you the living voices of those who dared to test the law. Men and women across decades, across nations, across circumstances, who discovered that imagination truly creates reality. A woman once told me she had been drowning in debt. Every night she cried herself to sleep, rehearsing her fears, counting her bills, and waking to more of the same. Then one evening she heard the words, "Assume the wish fulfilled." She decided to try, even if only in desperation. That night she imagined herself holding a receipt stamped, "Paid in full." She whispered, "Thank you," and let sleep take her. Within a week, a family member she had not spoken to in years called her out of nowhere, offering a gift large enough to clear every debt. She told me, "Neville, it was not chance, it was the law. I felt it, and it became fact." Another story. A man, weary from endless work, tired of living paycheck to paycheck, came to me with frustration. He said, "I've tried affirmations, I've tried visualizations, nothing changes." I told him, "Do not try to make it happen. Assume it has already happened." That night he imagined himself shaking hands with a friend, hearing the words, "Congratulations on your success." He persisted, even when it felt foolish. Days later, a business opportunity rose from nowhere, one he had never planned nor sought. Within months, he was earning more than he ever thought possible. He said, "It felt like the world bent itself to my assumption." And there was a woman who desired a sudden windfall. Not years of work, not slow accumulation, but proof. Night after night, she imagined herself receiving unexpected money, hearing her own voice say, "I can't believe it, but it's here." Within days, an old insurance policy she had forgotten came due, delivering into her hands exactly the amount she had imagined. She laughed, saying, "I thought it was luck, but then I realized it was law." Listen also to the man who tested the ladder experiment. Skeptical, he imagined climbing a ladder for 3 nights, feeling the rungs beneath his hands, the weight in his arms. During the day, he told himself, "I will not climb a ladder." Within a week, he found himself helping a neighbor with repairs, his hands gripping a real ladder, exactly as imagined. He laughed aloud and said, "It works, Neville. It truly works." That same man later shifted his focus from ladders to wealth. He imagined holding a check, feeling the joy of financial freedom. In less than a month, money arrived in ways he never could have orchestrated. Even in modern times, people test this law with the smallest things: a free cup of coffee, a word from a friend, an invitation, a forgotten bill erased. And always when they imagine with feeling, the world reflects it back. A young woman once imagined hearing the phrase, "Here's the money you needed." Within days, her employer gave her a bonus she had not expected. Another imagined herself living in a new home, seeing herself walking through its rooms each night before sleep. Within months, through a series of events she could never have arranged, she held the keys in her hand. The testimonies flow endlessly: surprise checks in the mail, forgotten accounts reopening, opportunities falling like ripe fruit into waiting hands. Always the same pattern: imagination. First, feeling impressed. Assumption persisted in, and then the outer world compelled to yield. And yet, beloved, I tell you this, these stories, as beautiful as they are only shadows of a greater testimony, the testimony of your own life. For what use is it if you only hear the stories of others and never write your own? What use is it to admire the harvest of another's field while leaving your soil barren? Tonight you have the chance to begin your own testimony. Tonight, you can plant your seed, feel it real, and allow the bridge of incidents to carry you to fulfillment. One day, perhaps soon, you will tell your story too. You will say, I lay in bed, I imagined, I felt, I persisted, and then it came. The money, the opportunity, the freedom, it came so naturally. I almost forgot I had imagined it. And when you tell that story, you will add your voice to the chorus of thousands who have discovered that imagination creates reality. And when you do, you will understand fully that this is not theory, not philosophy, not chance. It is law. It is certain. It is faithful. It never fails. Consider another man, weary from endless disappointments. He had been told all his life that money was scarce, that success belonged only to the lucky, that he was doomed to struggle. One evening, with nothing left to lose, he lay down in bed and whispered, I am already wealthy. I am already free. He repeated it until drowsiness overcame him. Days later, an opportunity appeared through a casual meeting. A friend introduced him to someone who needed exactly the skills he had. From that single encounter, a new career blossomed, bringing him more income than he had ever known. He later said, it felt as though life itself rearranged to make me prosper. I did nothing but assume. And then there was the young woman who longed to escape her small apartment. She dreamed of a spacious home, but laughed at herself, thinking, how could I ever afford such a thing? Yet, she chose to test the law. Each night she imagined herself walking through wide hallways, hearing the echo of her footsteps in her dream home. She touched the imaginary walls, smelled the fresh paint, felt the keys in her hand. Months later, through a series of coincidences, she was invited to view a home that matched her vision perfectly. The price was reduced, financing was offered, and soon she was holding those very keys. She said, it was as though the house had been waiting for me because I had already lived there in imagination. Another testimony came from a man who desired a sudden windfall, something undeniable. He imagined hearing the words, congratulations, you've won. He let the thrill rise in him, the laughter of friends, the relief of financial freedom. Within weeks, he received an inheritance he had not even known existed. Documents long forgotten surfaced, and money found its way into his hands. He said, Neville, I didn't chase it. It found me. Do you see the pattern? Always the same. It is never about forcing, never about straining. It is always about assumption, feeling, and persistence. Even the smallest experiments reveal the truth. A woman once imagined receiving a cup of coffee from a friend. She felt the warmth in her hand, the taste on her lips. Within days, a co-worker brought her coffee unexpectedly. She laughed, realizing the law had worked for something so trivial. But from that day, her faith grew strong. If imagination could produce coffee, why not wealth? Why not freedom? Why not a life transformed? Another young man tested it by imagining a simple phrase, I can't believe this happened to me. He repeated it each night, not tying it to any specific event, only feeling the excitement of something extraordinary unfolding. Within weeks, his business was offered a partnership that multiplied his income beyond anything he thought possible. He whispered, I truly can't believe this happened to me, and smiled at the perfection of the law. And so I ask you, why not you? Why not tonight? Why not imagine your own testimony, so vivid, so real, that tomorrow life begins to arrange itself around it? You are no different from these men and women. You share the same imagination, the same law, the same power. Hear me well. You were not born to scrape by, to hope for scraps of luck. You were born to know yourself as the operant power, to discover that imagination is the only reality. Every testimony you have heard tonight is a mirror of what is possible for you. So tonight, when you close your eyes, do not only hear their stories, begin to write your own. Imagine the words you will one day tell others. I heard, I dared, I assumed, and it came. Feel the joy of already living the proof. See yourself speaking to a friend, saying, "It worked for me, just as it worked for them." Let that be your seed tonight. For soon, very soon, you too will stand among the witnesses. You too will say with certainty, "Imagination creates reality." There was once a man who had been unemployed for months. Each morning he woke with dread, feeling the weight of rejection and lack. One evening, he decided to stop begging and start assuming. He lay in bed and imagined shaking hands with a new employer, hearing the words, "We're glad to have you on board." He repeated the scene until it felt natural, until sleep carried it into the depths of his being. Within a week, a company he had long admired reached out unexpectedly. They had found his old resume and asked if he was available. The interview was a mere formality. He had already assumed the role. The position was his, and with it came the salary he had once thought impossible. Another story comes from a woman drowning in medical bills. Her fear was great, her stress constant. She listened one night to these teachings and decided to try, even though doubt still lingered. She imagined herself at the mailbox, holding an envelope stamped "Paid in full." She saw the ink, felt the texture of the paper, and whispered, "Thank you, thank you, thank you," until tears filled her eyes. Weeks later, she received an unexpected grant from a health foundation she hadn't even applied for, enough to erase the debt entirely. She said through tears, "Neville, it was not luck, it was law." And then there was a young man who dreamed not of wealth but of love. He had longed for a partner, yet every relationship seemed to end in disappointment. He decided to test the law in the most tender way. Each night he imagined the weight of a hand in his, the sound of a gentle laugh beside him, the joy of companionship. He did not imagine a specific person, only the feeling of already being loved. Within months, through what others would call chance, he met the woman who would become his wife. He said, "I did nothing to search. I simply lived as though I were already loved, and love came to me." Another testimony is even more startling. A man suffered from a chronic illness, and the doctors told him there was no cure. Yet he dared to imagine health. Each night he felt the vitality in his body, the strength in his limbs, the joy of moving freely. He saw himself running, laughing, breathing deeply without pain. Within a year, his condition had reversed so dramatically that his doctors could only shake their heads. He said, "I know what they cannot explain. Imagination healed me." And then there was the widow who lived alone. Her days filled with silence. She longed for connection, for laughter, for joy. She decided to test the law in the smallest way. She imagined her phone ringing, a voice on the other end saying, "I've missed you. Let's get together." She let the scene repeat until it lulled her to sleep. Within days, an old friend she had not spoken to in years called unexpectedly, using almost the exact words she had imagined. That one call rekindled a friendship that brought light back into her life. She said, "Neville, it was as though I had written the script myself." Now listen carefully. These stories are not about luck. They are not about probability. They are about law. Every testimony proves the same truth. What you dare to assume as true, if persisted in, must harden into fact. Another woman, a single mother, once told me she needed money urgently for her child's education. She had no idea where it could come from. But instead of begging, she chose to feel relief. She imagined her son smiling, dressed in his new school uniform, confident and proud. She whispered, "It is done." Days later, she received a call from her employer. An unexpected bonus was being distributed to staff. The amount was more than enough to cover the tuition. She wept, saying, "It felt like a miracle. But now I know it was my assumption taking form." And there was a man who tested the law with something small. He wanted to see if imagination could truly influence reality. He imagined receiving a compliment about his appearance. He felt the words, "You look younger today," echo in his ears as he drifted into sleep. The very next day, a colleague at work, unprompted, told him exactly that. He laughed to himself, realizing the power in his own imagination. From then on, he dared to imagine greater things, and wealth soon followed. Beloved, do you see the endless variety of these testimonies? Money, love, health, friendship, success, they all obey the same law. It does not discriminate. It does not pick favorites. It reflects back only what you impress upon it. And so I tell you, the day will come when you too will share your story. You will write to someone or speak to a friend, and you will say, I imagined it, I felt it real, and now here it is. That day is inevitable if you dare to persist. Tonight, as you drift into sleep, do not beg, do not hope, do not wait. Enter the state of already having. Feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude of the wish fulfilled. Whisper quietly within yourself, it is done. And let sleep carry that seed into the depths of creation. For what you dare to assume tonight, you will live tomorrow. Imagination creates reality. And the law, beloved, never fails.